Welcome to the Partnership for Peace Consortium Euro-Atlantic Spot Series. Our topic today is COVID-19 and its impact on terrorism and political violence. And we're very fortunate to have today as a guest here, Brian Jenkins. Brian is a senior advisor to the president of the RAND Corporation on Counter-Terrorism policy, and he's often referred to as the father of modern counterterrorism strategy. Brian, welcome. We're very happy to have you.
Thank you very much, Raphael. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to be with you today.
Brian, I have three questions for you. There's a saying, all good things are three. And the first one is COVID-19. Is it going to have an impact on political violence and terrorism?
Clearly, there will be indirect effects. Number one, pandemics expose and exacerbate social inequality. There will be greater tensions as a result of this. Those tensions can lead to disorder, to defiance, in some cases to social unrest and armed conflict. The pandemic causes economic devastation. That devastation, again, creates desperate people. Desperate people are prone to being exploited both by organized crime and by radical ideologies. Number three, a consequence of the pandemic is social isolation. And in this particular case, in our age, spending more time alone on the internet where people are exposed to conspiracy theories and radical ideas. That is a recipe for radicalization. All of these combined, the economic tensions, the social tensions, and the individual psychological circumstances can lead to increased possibilities of defiance of authority, social disorder, and the political repercussions are political conflict and violence.
So, Brian, what, if anything, can we learn here from past pandemics?
In looking at centuries of past pandemics, we see certain recurring themes. One is popular resistance to the control measures, the quarantines, the lockdowns, the enforced isolation. Number two is threats against both health officials and political officials trying to enforce these rules. Number three is an increase in economic desperation, leaving people who are vulnerable to exploitation and radical political ideologies. Those recur again and again throughout history.
Taking all this into consideration, what would your advice be to the policy community here, to policymakers?
Right now, policymakers are understandably focused on the immediate issue, which is slowing the spread of the virus and getting the vaccines out so that people will be protected. Those are the near-term goals. But at the same time, we have to be thinking about the long-term economic and political consequences of the pandemic and take whatever measures we can now to speed recovery and to mitigate the tensions that the pandemic is creating. What we see at the individual level, at the individual society level, also takes place at the international level. The recovery is going to be uneven. There are nations that have suffered more and will have a slower recovery. We know that this sets off flows of refugees, that this creates tensions between nations, and these can lead to conflict situations. Thank you, Raphael, for the opportunity to speak with you. Thank you very much for the excellent questions. I look forward to talking again to you and your colleagues in the future.
And thank you, Brian.